Dyson Tears podcast, episode 4, as we messed up episode 3. Okay, so who we got on tonight? John, are you with us?
I'm here.
Phil?
Yo.
Polly?
Hello.
Sam?
Rusty trombone.
Luke?
Hi.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us, guys, and thank you to everyone that's actually listening to this. We're recording this Sunday evening. So, good times. So we're just going to quickly talk about what we've seen come out from the amazing release that GW did yesterday. I mean, I sat in front of my PC waiting for an hour to watch this. I had a nice double scotch on the side, some crisps to snack upon, and then I watched it, and I was extremely disappointed, and I felt like I wasted my time.
I can't believe you watched it all.
No, I didn't. I was building furniture in the bedroom. I completely missed it. But it sounded good, though. So, guys, everything that was released yesterday. So, as a 40k player, I felt a little bit disappointed because what 40k really, really needed at this moment in time, in this time of mass isolation, was another Primaris or an old Primaris lieutenant. Well done. That's exactly what we needed right now. No, just another lieutenant. Or one that's been reprinted. So they did mention. So anyway, Psychic Awakening, the next chapter, but we'll go to that in a second. Guys, what were your thoughts on the Primaris lieutenant that was released?
Well, initially, I actually liked it, and I remember putting in the chat that I was like, "Oh, look at this! I might get this," and then I looked at the price, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not getting that because I think it's overpriced for what it is." Essentially. Yeah,
but it's a lieutenant. It allows you to re-roll ones on wounds within 6 inches. Come on, who doesn't need another lieutenant to do that?
I know, but there's so many of them now.
Yes, there is. So obviously there was a couple.
Stone Guard. Those fellas.
Yes. Is that them?
They look hard as fuck. That's if you're gonna like elves have got this kind of they've got this kind of background of being, not that tough. These guys smashed it, literally, with their hammers.
It's literally like they've killed a bison and put it on his head.
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, at first I thought this was some like Slanesh demon. I thought it's impressive. I mean, wait a sec. Have we moved on from 40k? Because there's one release I want to talk about from that.
We wait with anticipating breath. So I'm looking at this guy, the Stoneheart King, and then you've obviously got the Spirit of the Mountain, which has a mountain on its shoulders. I'm thinking that looks absolutely boss. And I'm thinking, how big is this model? Can I convert it to a Wraith Lord?
I was just thinking that when I seen the model. I was just thinking that's like a Wraith Lord. I reckon that would be a size of a Wraith Lord, yeah.
Yeah, you could do something fancy-dancy with the head to make it look so...
That armor.
Yeah, but that armor, and like, I'm looking at that going, holy shit, that would make an amazing... Is it the Wraith Seer? Is it the Iandan Wraith Lord? That's also a Psyker. That's a HQ choice. Yeah. One of those, if you've seen it, it's a great-looking model anyway. But something like that would be really, really cool. Thoughts, guys?
Hell yeah, I'd even leave the hammers in there as well.
Yeah, that looks so awesome.
Yeah, just shits and giggles. That would be great for Eldar.
It's supposed to represent a ram, isn't it? If you look at the hooves and the face and the horns, it looks like a ram.
Yeah.
Well, just saying,
Yeah. No, I can see that. No, I can definitely see that. And obviously you've got the Stone Guard as well, which just have, I don't know. I like the base of the model, and then you've got the helmet, and then you've got like an extension and horns again.
Pick up good TV signal that.
That's what I was thinking. Fucking hell. Okay, and then obviously they've, your favourite stuff, Sam, Lord of the Rings.
Woo! Yeah.
Just isn't exciting.
Let's just breeze over.
It doesn't excite
Let's just
you.
breeze over that.
Hey,
you could sing anything you want to me and say it's from the Lord of the Rings. I wouldn't know.
But
no,
they have.
I liked it. It was. Oh, what's he called? I forgot what it's called now.
Aramir.
It wasn't Aramir.
It was Aramir, Marshal of the Riddermark. That's the new plastic kit.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, I'm suddenly
and it's a plastic
now.
kit. It's a new plastic kit.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought it was gambling. But no, we're cool with that.
No, it's Aramir. And it's one of the poses is him looking like he's about to chuck a spear. Do you remember after they charge the orcs and then the big Oliphants come out on
Yeah.
Pelennor? And he throws that spear. Oh my god! And he throws that spear and takes out that one on his own. He's got that sort of pose, which I think is quite cool. You've got one.
Yeah.
Why haven't you painted it?
Oh, it lives back at home. Home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a box.
In a box.
Yeah.
It's never been opened.
Yeah.
So-
in the shop.
Phil, what else you want to mention about?
Holy
40K?
motherfuck! This
Go on.
this next model. So like
What model?
this model, like back in the day, was I thought pretty cool. But what they've done to, I mean, Fabius Bile. This is what we're talking about, by the way.
Oh, right. Okay.
This model is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they got him. They got the little spider dude with him.
Yeah.
And like this guy is dark. This like some of the backstory to him as well. I was reading about this. So he's called the Clone Lord.
Yeah.
Supposedly because he went to some town in some part of space. He cloned all the newborn babies, and then he replaced them all with their clone twins, so as to sow the seed of darkness within this town.
That's
He's a bad
cool.
man. He is a
Whoa.
bad man.
That's,
I mean,
He's a bad man too.
that's,
bad man thing.
that's homunculi level Dick Dastardly sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, the backstory of this guy's. I mean, his rules in 40k. I mean, there's a lot to be desired, but
Maybe we're gonna get some new rules and new model, new rules.
new model, new rules. I
Well,
hope his Rod of Torment gets updated.
Psychic Awakening 8,
Rod of
whatever it is.
Torment.
Rod of
Based
Torment,
around
Holly.
him.
So, well, as soon as I saw him, I looked at the model. I thought, oh, the picture of it. I was like, wow, he reminds me of Vigo from Ghostbusters 2. I don't know if any of you guys can see that. Like, bring me the child. And yeah, no, it's a really, really cool model. GW have done a great job on it. You can tell because if you go to their community page, you can slide up and down. It shows you the old one to the new one, and it is incredible. They always bring out fantastic looking models. We all know that. What size do you reckon he's going to be? Primaris Lieutenant size, or what size do you
Little
scale?
fella, isn't he?
No,
A little dinky fella.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, because he's got some big shoulder pads on him.
Oh, true. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. They are going a bit Primaris, so I reckon it could be.
Because if you look at Death Guard Space Marine or Marines, they're a little bit bigger than normal Chaos Marines, aren't they? So maybe it's that sort of scale. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so moving on from Vigo, obviously we've got Psychic Awakening War of the Spider.
Oh, I didn't see this. So what's this about then? Go on.
So it's the new Psychic Awakening book. It's got
Cheat
Custodes, Sisters of Silence, Imperial Assassins,
Oh, hello.
a Chaos faction called Agents of Bile.
Yeah, so that's like Bile's army.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I can see a lot of
cool.
people doing that.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, no. I can't afford any more.
Yes, you can, Luke.
Oh,
No, he can't, Karl.
You know you want a Primaris Lieutenant.
I definitely don't want them.
No, Sam. Nobody needs any more Primaris Lieutenants, I promise you. Yeah, and it's also, I believe, Harlequins as well, and
Hold
Death
on.
Guard.
You've lost me completely.
Fuck off.
So
Harlequin.
the next Psychic Awakening book that comes out
Yeah.
is featuring all of those.
There's a lot in there.
It's all about the chaos, isn't it?
That sounds ridiculous. What sort of box set is this going to be? Some sort of pick a mix?
No,
think
what I
so.
heard is it's going to have some Space Wolf intercessors in it.
Well, if we know it's anything like Saga the Beast, it's going to be shit.
Yeah.
Hey, let's see what happens. But yeah, that's going to be the next one by the looks of it. So it's quite exciting to see that. And then we go into Warcry. They released some new Warcry models. Something we haven't really got down to in the club, is it, Warcry? It's not something. I know people bought the
I've got
kits.
the box set. It's still in its little cellophane or whatever it is, and it looks really good. The models in it look great.
Yeah.
I just never opened it. It's not been opened at all. It has not been touched. I promise you. Like
That
nothing.
guy with the sword, that massive sword, and a big
The
thing.
flaming
on his head.
sword.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
very, very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But I really
Maybe that's
wanted
something
the,
we need to introduce.
Well, I want there's a fraction. Basically, when it came out with the big box set, and then they didn't release the other armies until much later in the year. And I really I wasn't interested in the starter set armies. I really wanted the ones that were called the Unclean, which were basically like Chaos, but they had like swords for legs and arms. They looked like something out of. Do you remember that game, The Suffering, on PS2 years ago?
Oh yeah.
And it was just basically the models are just deformed people with like swords through their eyes and syringes in their like.
Wrong uns.
It just looked awesome, but they didn't bring them out for ages, so I forgot about it. And there's an army faction there that have like snakes as weapons. It just looked cool.
Yeah, it is a really cool game. And to be honest, like I said, a lot of people down the club purchased the box set.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Ash has got it,
Yeah,
obviously Luke, and there's a few others, and we've never actually done anything with it down the club. So maybe
We
that's
should
something
do
we
it.
can
Make
do.
us do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like we had the Necromunda one for ages, and the only reason we actually opened it was when we started doing it at the club. So help us out.
Give you some motivation. Is that what you're saying, Holly?
Exactly. Yeah.
You can do it.
They are
can do
really
it.
really cool models. Like look at the guy with a little mask with horns on, holding a sword and looks like an axe. They look really cool. I'd be up for this.
Yeah. Do you need any more new
No, you don't
models
need any
or
more
any new
models, Sam.
systems
You
to
can
play,
wait.
Sam?
Of course he does.
Of course I do.
I just bought 2 new armies.
I live to buy models. That's the reason I'm on this earth.
Oh, I bet your wife loves it.
She don't care. She just says, "Do what you want because you're out of my way." I'm like, brilliant.
Oh, fair enough.
Love you too.
Okay, so yeah, no, Walker, they look really cool models. It'd be nice to see what their rules are. I kind of like the guy with the big halberd. That's on fire by the looks of it. He's half naked. Got a little bit of chainy, tassely stuff. I think that's quite cool. Put some clothes on though, mate. Come on.
Yeah,
Are you trying to
safety.
what you're trying to prove? You know what I mean? So
You're just
obviously,
jealous of that physique, Karl.
hey, look, underneath all this fat, that's me. You know what I'm saying?
I think you look more like the woman next to him.
Okay, so obviously we've got 30k, which is something probably none of us play, and obviously they've released the new Primarch model. Lion Johnson, the Lion's back. John, you had some opinions on this in WhatsApp the other day.
I love a bit of Dark Angels, and I like the model. I'd buy it purely because I like Dark Angels, but the model itself is a bit underwhelming.
What?
Controversial.
I think he's better without his helmet.
Yeah, he's better with the helmet. The detail
Pose
is
is a bit
amazing on the
odd.
model. It's the pose the pose is so
Yeah.
static. He's like looking like he's mid swing, but he's just like firmly planted on the ground, and he looks
I
very
agree
still.
with that, mate. Yeah, it
It's
doesn't. It
the
doesn't look
pose.
like. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's made that swing, does it?
I mean, it looks like that Night Lord's about to just pop his head off. To be honest,
So
he's not meant to be winning that fight.
I think it's the angle. So if I post this, have a look at this. It's the angle as well.
yeah,
So you change the angle slightly, and it looks fucking awesome.
See that I prefer that without the helmet.
Yeah.
He looks so much better without that helmet.
Yeah, if I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong, John. But isn't the Lion probably one of the best swordsmen, apart from Sigismund, the Black Templar's first ever marshal? He's apparently the best swordsman in the Imperium. Is that right? Is that his fluff?
Yeah, he was. I don't know if he's the best in the Imperium, but he was definitely very handy with a sword.
Okay, but it's a nice new model for 30k.
It could have been so much better.
Yeah, people will love it, people will hate it, and that's the great thing about the hobby that we're in. People will have that Marmite reaction to certain things, and everyone's opinions is valid on it. Okay,
No,
so
it's not.
I'm trying to be diplomatic. I'm trying to be that nice guy. But yeah, no, it's a very cool looking model. It's nice to see 30k getting a little bit of love as well. And then obviously that Primaris Lieutenant again looking badass, because that's what we needed, another Primaris Lieutenant. Well done, GW. Thank you. Thanks for all the fish.
Do you know what I didn't like? Don't get me wrong. It was the first time they'd done something like that, which is fair enough. I think
It was
we can
really
all agree
boring.
that there was no need for the 20-minute fillers.
It was
in
terrible,
between
that stream.
reviews.
All
It
the
was
20-minute breaks in
Absolute
between.
car crash.
But it's like, I was like, when they did the Lumeth Elves thing, it's like, and here's Phil Kelly. It's like, great, one of the best background writers Games Workshop has. And it was just the worst, like, 10-minute interview. After that, I just turned off. It's like the rest, if that, they just wheeled up one of the best, and this was the worst part so far. I'm turning off. It was a dreadful stream.
Did any of you see the Death's Hand trailer?
Yes.
What's that?
No?
Oh, what do you mean?
It was the very first thing.
Oh, what? Oh, I
This?
didn't know what it was called. What, the cartoon? Yeah.
Harry Walter.
That looked
I told you,
awesome.
I was putting together furniture. Okay, I'll watch it in a bit. Okay.
So
Okay.
this looks very cool.
What do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be like a Netflix series or something?
It's in that style, isn't it? That kind of like
Yeah.
pseudo anime.
I could get down with that. That's fine. It's got it. Hey, it's got an assassin in it, so I'm happy.
You're there.
I'm sold.
Job done.
It's not another Primaris Lieutenant though, Luke. Calm down.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so shall we move on quickly then to what the GTGC community has been doing this week?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, mother truckers. So a lot of us are stuck in a form of isolation at the moment. Most of us are working
We're stuck in what?
isolation. There is a song. I promise you guys, there is a song. Cheers, Luke.
Mate.
And it basically what me, Phil, and Dale decided to do. Dale's another guy who helps us run the club. Is to do a small painting competition, all for fun and pride, just to give people a little bit of motivation to paint some models that they've had on their desk for ages, or something they're really proud of and they want to show it off and see what happens. So we ran it from, mentioned it on Tuesday on our Facebook page. And basically told people start painting, and on Saturday we'll open up a comment section, add your pictures, the person with the most likes wins. Nice and easy, nice and simple, bit of fun. We had some fantastic entries. They're all on our Instagram page. Thank you, Holly, for sorting that out for us. You're absolutely amazing.
No problem.
Yeah, sweet. So it was a joint win between Will, Toby, and Alex. Will painted I believe it's a salamander. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it was a lieutenant. Great. Toby painted another salamander, but I think it might have been the 30k version of Vulcan.
Yeah, it's Vulcan, yeah.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. Nice guy, Vulcan. Nice guy, salamanders. And then Alex had an orc. We love orcs here.
Woo!
Woo woo. Guys, what did you think to the guys that sort of joint won? What do you reckon to their painting?
I lost by one vote, so I'm fucking
Yeah, you were
sad
close.
about it.
Yeah.
You're not bitter at all.
It was lovely.
That wasn't the question, Luke.
Well,
Who's,
Yeah,
who's Magnus? Who's Magnus? Who's Magnus? Is it?
Is it
Sorry,
yours,
who?
Holly?
Who painted it? Oh,
Did you paint?
me.
Did you paint that?
Oh, what's going on, Luke?
Oh, whoa.
Whoa.
Luke, you
Whoa.
little bitch.
Controversial.
Because he
Yeah.
said, I did a thing.
He
Yeah,
did say
I
I
took
did.
a
oh, it's not my model.
Okay.
So Holly almost won by one, or lost by one, we should say. But yeah, no, there were some great entries, I thought, and it wasn't all about the people that are amazingly good at painting. We're hopefully going to do more stuff like this in the future, just to keep our minds active and just keep us doing something as a community. There's a little bit more on that later in the podcast.
Yeah,
yeah.
some of the entries, just like Chaz's Dreadnought.
Oh,
Yeah, that
Some
was
of them
really
were
good.
amazing.
That was mental, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going through this.
mm.
I don't know what they are. I presume they're Lord of the Rings, but the little people on horses, they're cool.
You mean Legolas and Gimli?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I like them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
were
were
See, I
Whose
like the
models
fact
are
it
they?
wasn't just 40k.
yes.
There was other people bouncing in with what they got.
Yeah.
But I
think
do,
it
out of
was-
all three of those, I do like that Vulcan model. I think that looks absolutely sick.
Yes, yeah, it was really good, and Toby helps runs the Imperial Bunker, and Warp Storm Gaming over in Cheltenham, but we'll talk more a little bit later about those guys as well. But yeah, no, all fantastic entries, and again, we'll do it again, and it doesn't matter about how good you are at painting. If your ability is low, medium, or high, or godlike, if you're proud of a model, you're proud of a model, and you should post it. And some people out there will be toxic and say, "Oh, that's terrible." But here at the GTGC, we're not like that. We're not those sort of people. You know, we will give encouragement and try and help people to get them from those low, medium, and high tiers to better themselves at painting. So, with that in mind, guys, what have you all been working on this week at home? John?
The same style suits have been sat on my desk for about a month now. I slowly progressed one.
Yeah, but that camo on them looks really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers, Phil.
Did you use tape or is that freehand?
That was freehand.
Dear God,
This guy.
Freestyling.
Wow.
Microphone.
those lines. Damn.
Dem
Sounds like-
lines.
That-
Damn, Daniel.
So how many do you have to paint, John?
I have 6.
And
Okay.
you painted the total of.
1.5.
Oh, you'll be
Going.
they'll all be finished just in time as we come out of isolation then.
Hey.
What's that? What are we in isolation? Are we, Sam?
Apparently. There is a song about it if you want to listen to it.
Yeah,
We'll post it up
link in the
later.
bio. It is currently 37 minutes long. Haven't quite figured out how to trim it yet, but I will.
It's not 37 minutes long. It's like 3 minutes, and then there's just 30 minutes of silence if you really want to take in the song. That's all the 30 minutes of silence is. If you just want to take it in and.
What have I just listened to?
Yeah.
So, Phil, what have you been working on, sir?
So before we kind of disbanded because of what's been going on, Tom gave me some models from a board game called Scythe, and there's these little like what would I describe them? Like little robotic mechs. So there's these like so I've been painting these up for him. And they kind of it's like a 1920s post-industrial revolution, post-apocalypse game.
Nice.
Yeah, so like I enter some of these into the competition, and
Yeah, I'm looking at them now. They look awesome, Phil. Well done. They look fantastic.
They're really cool. It's just something different because I'm
weird,
used to
aren't they?
painting mainly. Yeah, I mainly paint Games Workshop stuff, but this is I know it's a totally different company. They're slightly smaller models as well. But this is getting me ready to paint some of the Aeronautica Imperialis models, which which are on the table too to paint next week.
Is that
Nice.
Is Aeronautica whatever blah blah blah? Is that like the mini version of Warhammer?
No, it's like so you know all the like the dog fighting. It's focused on that elements of all the aircrafts. So in fact, last week they announced some Tau aircrafts for this game. So very very small scale, but really really cool models.
They are very cool. It's a bit like GW's version of X-Wing, isn't it? Really?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool. I've looked at it and thought I really want to get into that. So maybe that's something I can do as well. So Holly, what have you been
Yes.
working on?
Dark Elder.
Woo woo!
I have painted some of it and then given up because trying to do red straight lines perfectly
lines,
is really
though.
frustrating. And then Luke goes, "Yeah, it looks fine," but I'm not going for fine. I'm going for perfect. So
I thought it looked good. Did anyone else think it looked good? I thought it looked good.
That
Yeah,
razor
really
wing,
good.
it looks really sharp. I like it.
Yeah, dem
but
lines.
it has to. But and then the
Red
little
lines.
people.
But she's not going for sharp. She's going for perfect.
I'm going for perfect. So it's going to take me a while, and I get really frustrated. And I just need to build a Venom, and then I've built all of my stuff for Dark Elder.
Nice. It looks like you're gonna have to buy some more then, Holly.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't play with them because I'm just terrible at it. So I may as well just paint them all.
Fair enough.
When the club restarts, Holly, we'll have a doubles, and I'll take my Dark Elder, and we'll sort of show you some of the ropes. Because Dark Elder are a very finicky army to play.
Am I going to be on your side or against you?
No, you'll be on my side. It's fine.
Oh,
And then you
cool.
can
Okay,
lose
okay.
doubly.
Karl doesn't lose.
I do lose.
Loses his shit.
When did you last lose, Carl?
Anyway, so Sam, Sam, what have you been by painting, rechanging your mind of this
Buying.
week?
I changed my mind like the weather. But I've had real slow progress in painting my Imperial Guard because what I've decided to do was spray the sprue, then paint the bits, and then put it all together. And it is working because it is looking nice, but it's just so slow, like real slow. But I'll tell you what I have actually been working on this week. I haven't done any painting this week. What I have done is I've changed my hobby space around to make it a bit more of a relaxing environment, so that
Nice.
when I'm in there, I can
Cool.
just
So there's
separate. So
There's a lava on the floor.
it's the same type of floor as lava, yeah. No, there was just a lot. There was just a lot going on. There was 2 TVs, one with my Xbox on it, one with Sky TV on it. There was
That's a proper man cave.
it is a proper man cave, but it wasn't. There was too much going on, so I've changed it up to make it a bit more, so I can concentrate on the painting a little bit more.
One had no sound,
because-
one had colour. Together they were one.
Together they were one. But what was happening was I was painting, but I was getting distracted by what was on the TV, and then I was going to put the brush to the model, and I was finding it had gone hard, and I was like, oh great, right, start again. So I've decided to take the distraction away. And then on a second note, I got 2 new armies, so now I got those as well. I got Custodes.
What have you got, Sam?
I got Custodes and I got Necrons. Now,
What happened to only having 2 armies?
I was going to say, in the very first podcast, Sam was like, "Oh, I've got 2 armies." Had to cut down to 2 armies.
Depends how this
2
podcast
more.
goes on. If we get to like episode 20 of podcast, I'll probably have about 30 armies by then. Don't worry
And
about
I
it.
think we joked about you getting more, and you were like, no. There's only 2 armies now.
This is
There's
it.
something you've got to realise about me, guys, and everybody listening, is I'm very impulsive. If someone
No.
offers me something, I don't say no.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. I'm talking 40k.
Sam, can we just go back to do a sort of a U-turn and just talk about? You said you were distracted by what was on the TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the great thing to do then, guys, to everyone that's listening to this, the best way to paint models and you want something on the background is to listen to a podcast. What are we doing right now? Whoa, look at that.
Yes.
Good plug.
Would you recommend any podcasts there?
Thing is,
Carl?
I
though,
make
to get that
great
plug,
backdown
people are going to have to listen to this podcast to know to listen to the podcast. So,
Inception podcast. Here we go.
Plus, I'm also in this podcast, so I'm listening to you say it live, then listening to it again. It's just, this is too far. Inception.
Okay, Luke, what have you been painting this week or doing hobby-wise?
God.
he's been loving it.
I took on the stupid idea of painting an Imperial Fist army. But to be fair, I've instead of going for the option of having clean, beautiful Primaris armor, I've gone with yellow, but with imperfections in the sense that there's little bits of rust and little bits of chipping, just to make my life that little bit easier. But tell you what, tried to paint
That wasn't his choice.
It wasn't my yeah. I tried to paint that lieutenant in Phobos armor yesterday. And, oh no, it's a chaplain, isn't it? Is it librarian? No, it's a librarian.
No, like the librarian, the one with the sword.
Oh,
That
dear
when I
God.
painted that originally, that was hard anyway. So with yellow, that's going to be even worse.
I didn't like it. I don't like the model. I think it's stupid. Who wears fucking power armor and then a cloak? Doesn't make any sense.
Dark Angels.
Well, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. And then the pose isn't very good, and it doesn't make any sense. Why has he got his fingers up in his eyes? It's just
Because he's
no.
psychic. He's doing the zimmy zammy, isn't he?
Oh, well, he's a dickhead. But he's done now. He's done now. So
I know
so-
why that model was invented. It was invented to annoy you.
Oh god, yeah. So in summary, I painted a Redemptor Dreadnought, based it. I've gone for a snow theme because snow looks great. Tell you one thing that GW did right in the last 3 years, in my opinion, is textured paints. Absolutely loved the blizzards and snow. That stuff is absolutely bloody amazing. And I did that, and I finished off Captain Lysander. So now they look really good, and they are on the Instagram page, I think, Holly, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Yeah, it's very good. Okay,
That's-
sweet. Good. Well, this week on.
Oh,
Phil's just-
I will-
bastard.
I will not repeat what John just put in chat, but we will continue on. But it was very funny, guys. I will say that. Okay, so this week I got given a load of Elder stuff. It's a bit battered, a bit bruised, so I'm fixing it up.
Yeah,
All
Luke,
right.
fucking hell.
Nothing fucking wrong with that, Karl, you prick.
Well, no, I got it from Sam. So in my mind, Sam was the one that battered and bruised it. So
Hey.
that
What
was
have you
my.
done to it?
Yeah,
What's
what?
going on? That my beautiful, beautiful, lovely looked after Eldar army is gone round like the village bicycle.
Or the village penny farthing, as one would say.
Oh.
So, Karl, what have you done with this Elder?
I've stripped some of it, kinky, and started repainting it in my Craftful colours, which is Bialtan.
And you can see that on the Instagram.
It is on the Instagram. Wow, look at that. We're so good, guys. So we do with the podcast that we do, guys. We obviously this is our third episode. We'll explain that in a second.
3.5.
3.5. Thank you, Phil. And
Noon
we do
improved.
get mentioned on other podcasts. Holly was telling me just the other week that a podcast in America called Fairy Hammer mentioned us. Is that right, Holly?
They messaged me on Instagram, yes.
Now, what did they say?
They said, I can have a look. Just well done for how much love we get on Instagram was the general gist.
Where are they from in America?
America.
Just America.
Just
America. Fuck yeah.
So thank you for that. Go on, Holly.
It's okay. I was going to say, I don't know. I can't think of any places in America. I'm not good at geography, so just America is where they're from.
Okay,
Good.
so let's hope they
Good.
don't listen to this bit because that's incredibly insulting. But okay.
No, if they do, they can tell us.
Yes.
They can
Yeah.
write in.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
PO
so
box.
Maybe we can get an old. Maybe
you
we
do
can get a
write it, you
damn
get a
y'all
blue piece
Skype
of that.
call. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god, Sam.
guys,
Yeah.
Get a damn Skype call on the next podcast. You know what I'm
And if you
saying,
thought
guys?
I was insulting, here we go.
Wow.
Oh, mate.
They love the Alabamas.
Moving
That's
on.
Alabama. That's Alabama.
Well, I don't know what it was, to be honest.
Okay, moving on. So last week, guys, we did actually record a podcast, number 3. We had a couple of technical issues, and actually we weren't able to release it. So we're sorry about that because we know people like to listen to us every week. So we do apologise. We have rectified the technical issues.
God,
We
I
had
hope
some,
we have.
yeah, absolutely. We've had some Gretchens working in there and sorting out. The Admech said a prayer, so everything should be fine now. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow, actually, I've got a load of X-Wing stuff at home, and my little lad, he's only 8. He's off school now because of all stuck in isolation, and we're going to play some X-Wing because I think it'd be a game that you could get into. Have you guys ever played X-Wing?
I have not.
I think I played it once and then gave it to you.
Yeah, we played it ages ago, didn't we? When the
Yes.
when the club first started. So Karl and what's his friend called? I can't remember now.
Oh, he's the guy that runs Intrepid Gaming.
Yeah. Oh god, this was like a good year and a bit ago. They came down to give us a demo, didn't they?
Yes, and it was really good. And when we first started the club, and this is my advice to sort of anyone who's looking at starting a gaming club in their local community, is be open to any game system and give any game system a go. And that's what we did. So we had them come down. Carl Tinsley is a good friend of mine and Phil's.
Yeah, great guy.
Michael was his name. Michael,
that's yeah,
Michael. They came down. They come all the way up from Taunton. And they set about 8 tables, didn't they? We had loads of people playing it. It never really kicked off for us as a club, but that was purely down to because we moved where we were playing at, and we got massively into kill teams and 40k. But yeah, always give these things a go. So me and Jacob, we're going to play X-Wing tomorrow. Kel, my partner, is a teacher. He said, well, how is that going to teach him anything? I said, well, it'll teach him how to read rules, interpret rules, learn distances, and play a game with empathy with somebody else. So yeah, hopefully we'll
how
have
to avoid asteroids.
Absolutely, I love hitting asteroids and just have a little bit of fun with him.
And the biggest lesson, it'll teach him not to play you again.
What did you learn today? How to lose.
We
Karl never did
played.
that.
No.
No, we yeah. So that's what I plan to do tomorrow. Okay, so
What faction are you going to take?
Rebels, obviously.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
How many points you playing?
Oh, is it Star Wars?
X-wing, yeah, Star Wars X-wing. It's called. Basically, your X-wing fighters, TIE fighters, A-wings, B-wings, Millennium Falcon,
Planes,
all
Holly,
those sort.
planes.
Okay.
Zoom, zoom, shoot, shoot, kill, kill. Pretty much, yeah. But I've only ever played it a few times, so it'll be a great father and son thing to do tomorrow, I think. So going on to that, guys, what are you missing the most about the hobby, John? That we can't do right now at home.
Well, it's incredibly difficult to lose to everyone down the club at home, so it's quite nice not doing that, to be honest.
Phil?
So for me, it's I miss Dale. Like I just miss seeing him. I miss hugging him. I miss shaking his hand. Like Dale is an incredible human being, and I miss Dale the most. So
We love you, Dale.
you're the best.
Some a little too much.
And in fact, we should get Dale on this podcast.
Yes.
Yes, he's.
So stony
He-
ground. Yes.
He will be on this.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Holly, what are you missing?
Well, I was going to say I miss Phil, but then Phil just said he missed Dale, so I don't
it's the
feel
end of
that
that one.
anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, do you know what I do love though? Is those gummy snakes down because they're freaking massive and they're 50p. But we can play 40k here because now Luke bought the gaming equipment. The word has left my head. Gaming board and stuff. Me and Luke play here anyway, so I guess it's just seeing other people than my husband would be great at some point.
Gee, thanks.
Sam,
No,
what-
She wants to see other people, guys. You heard it here first on the GCGC podcast. Fantastic.
GCGC.
So,
Oh god.
Sam, what are you missing?
People mainly, just generally being able to mingle with people. I miss losing, believe it or not. No, do you know what I miss? Do you know what I miss the most? The fact that I've got all these armies. I've got no one to play with. It's just sorry little me in my room going, I've got no one to play with. No, I generally just miss the people. I think people are what make the club massive. So,
Luke?
I miss
Luke.
Oinks.
Oinks.
Yeah. Really, really.
Explain.
And you don't know, do you? You don't understand. So Oinks are like Phil. What's Oinks?
Oh, so are those the so part of the bar is dedicated to a selection of bizarre confectionery. Right? Let's put it lightly. Like you will not see this in a normal shop, but you will see this in the community centre bar. And I don't know what they are. Are those the long snaky things?
No. Why would they be
No.
called
Well, they're
Oinks, Phil?
Oh, they're the crisps, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're O's. It's the most sort of exciting thing ever. Think of onion rings, but they taste like smoky bacon, and they're called Oinks, and they're 3 packets for 50p.
No, they're 4 for £1.
Oh, they're 4 for £1. There you go. So 2 packets for
What-
50p.
What are they made out of?
Corn.
Crisps.
Okay.
But
Potato!
they're absolutely fantastic. So do you know what? After a hard day at work, I love going down there, getting 3 packets of Oinks, a pint of Doom Bar, and that honestly, that makes my fucking day. But if Kelly turns around to me and goes, "Sorry, Luke, we've got no Oinks left," tell you what, I kick right off. I'm like, that isn't good enough. Sort it out. And then she gives me a packet of smoky bacon Walkers, which isn't the same thing at all.
No, sounds great,
Yeah.
Luke.
But I do
And
enjoy it.
we play our club meets every Tuesday out when we're not in social distancing at Tuffley Community Centre. which is just off Windsor Drive. Great guys, great club. Really enjoy going there. And I just want to sort of echo what everybody else has been saying. We are a community. We do run our club as a community, and we all have a say in how that community is run. And it's just really a horrible time to not see everyone, shake everyone's hand, see what they've been up to. I hate not being able to do that, because we do get about 30 to 40 people down weekly. And this is a shout out to all you guys. We're all in it together, and we will come back even stronger when we're allowed to go and play games again. I promise you that we will be back even stronger than before. And we'll all get together. We'll have some oinks, we'll have some Doom Bar. They do some great guest ales down the club as well. And we'll have a good point. We'll have a great time, as we always do. So this last week on Wednesday, we all jumped onto Discord, loaded up Steam, and played Uno, which is a game I've never ever played.
Had you never ever played Uno up until that point?
I said, I don't know. I said it to Kelly, and she said, "Karl, have you never played Uno?" I said, "No," and she was like, "Right, what have you been doing with your life?" And I'm just like, I don't know, it was never something we played at home when I was growing up, and we had a great night, probably about 3 hours playing, and it was Tabletop Simulator, and we were just there for ages playing it, and it was a great night, wasn't it, guys?
Good
yeah,
fun.
so John ran that. John compared.
Sorry, and you compared it.
You were the host, John. Keeping it real.
But yeah, so what we're going to do moving forward, every Tuesday night, we're going to jump on our main Discord channel, and we're going to load up Tabletop Simulator and just play games as a community online. And it's going to be every Tuesday night we're going to be on there. So it's kind of like a virtual meeting at the gaming club. And hopefully, the guys that listen to this, you can join us too. Even if you're not part of our gaming community and you just want to get to know us a little bit better, we'll link the Discord channel in all our sort of pages that we do.
Even if you don't want to play games and just want to have a chat. On Discord,
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got sections for the. It's basically we've virtualized the club, so there's hall number 1 and 2. There's the bar. So if you want to come in and have a virtual drink and just have a chit chat, have some oinks. I've got a reserve. Don't you worry. But yeah, no. If you don't want to, if you don't want to go into, I mean, there's a section in the GTGC Discord where the D&Ders are actually all D&Ding on Discord while they're in isolation. So that's a separate part. They always do it in the pool hall. So there's a separate part now for the pool hall in the Discord, which I think is really cool. It's like we've got each room doing different things. So yeah, if you want to come and have a chat, by all means. Yeah.
Or if you want to hang out in the box, like Karl.
You can't talk in the box. It's an AFK channel.
Okay, so this week we've done something a little bit different. We have got a Q&A section. So we have asked our great community to send us some questions. And haven't they just? We've got 7 to answer. And we will go through them. So is it all right if I start on that, guys?
Yes. Okay,
so Damien Dinwiddie, I do apologise if I haven't pronounced that correctly. I am terrible with names, as you all know, from down the club. So what he's put down, his question is to us, what is the greatest board game of all time?
Uno.
Is that a board game?
Uno's not a board game.
Nah,
Does
it's
it involve
card
a board,
game,
Sam?
It involves a playing table.
Monopoly.
Now, I actually agree with Holly that it's probably one of my favourite board games ever in the world.
Do you know what's even better is the Cheaters Edition, because it gets nasty. I love it.
Is that a woman with handcuffs as well?
Yeah, where you're incentivized to cheat, and then when you accuse someone of cheating, they try to deny it, and you get really vicious. It's fucking great.
When you just flip the table.
Whoa, Holly, calm down. You got really aggressive.
Just passionate, Karl.
Anyone else want to chip in on this one?
Do you know what I like? And it's a bit, not many, it's a bit marmitey. No, not many people like it. I like Risk.
Okay.
That's a really great game.
And it's really tactical. And as a board game goes, it's just got everything in it that makes it a good game.
I've never played Risk.
We've got
Take a risk.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
Still sealed in the box like Warcry.
It's funny that you say that, Karl. It's actually a Lord of the Rings risk, and it is still in the box.
Oh, that sounds good. We'll have to get
Just
him.
doesn't
not
excite me.
my cup of tea now. Boring game.
I would
Phil,
say the
John?
great.
So I know there's at least one other person that listens to this that plays this game, so I have to say it. Blood Bowl. It is. There is a argue with that.
I can't argue with it. Blood Bowl is pretty dark. Is it a board game though? Was he classify it as a board game?
There is a board.
No,
Yes,
I'm
game.
gonna say
Board,
I'm gonna
yes.
call it out and say I need a different one for that board game, just like traditional board game.
Okay, Scrabble.
Great
Of
game.
course, Phil's favourite game is Scrabble.
Fuck's sake. And his favourite colour's beige.
Oh, that made me love
Good
it so
God.
much more.
I love beige.
I know, playing is Scrabble. I love it.
Luke.
Oh man, my favourite board game.
That you've actually opened and played. It's not just up in your cupboard.
Good God. I'd probably say, does Munchkins count?
Ooh.
That's a good game. That's a very
That's a
good game.
board.
It doesn't always have a board, that does it?
Not
No,
always. You can
that's
get
true.
just the card version, can't you?
Yeah.
I
What
would
Cluedo?
say, no, definitely not.
What's wrong with Cluedo? Cluedo's amazing.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Is it?
Yeah, if you play it with the right people, it can be
Yeah.
bloody brilliant.
I don't
Butler done
really
it in
know.
Butler done it in the dining room with the rusty trombone.
He had to get it in, didn't he? He had to.
I would say the best board game I've ever played is the Dark Souls board game.
Oh, do you have that?
No, I've been trying to get hold of it for years.
It's quite rare, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah.
The starter set is there's a new. Oh, slightly off topic. Phil, there's actually an expansion now which has got Artorias of the Abyss in and all of the Dark Souls 3 characters as well. It's just come out.
What?
But you need the main one to be able to play the expansion as well. But it looks absolutely amazing.
That
Can
sounds
I put an honourable mention in? There's a game that I was playing the other day that was really good, and it's called Dead of Winter.
That's a good game.
It is really good, but it is quite hard to master. But I just want to put that out there. It was a good game.
Okay. So, John.
I'm glad you came to me last one. I'm trying to think. I'm a big fan of Pandemic.
Oh, great game.
That's a good game.
Never played
Very
that. It looks quite good. Is it appropriate right now? Yeah.
Appropriate in this great environment.
good.
The expansions are really good for it as well.
Okay. So we've had 2 Monopoly, Pandemic. Phil rocked up with Blood Bowl. Sam rocked up with what did Sam say? Risk. And then Luke said Munchkin. So by the powers of democracy, it's Monopoly. Monopoly is the greatest
Monopoly.
board game. Whoop, 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 whoop.
The greatest family breaker since 1990.
Oh, Sam, you wait. You play the cheaters one, man.
We're when all this isolation's over, we're setting that up.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got a question here from Brocky. How many of you, I assume he's talking about us, have experienced Blood Bowl, and what did you enjoy about it? John?
I played one game of Blood Bowl with my brother-in-law. So we split the starter set. We basically just drank a load of beer. Didn't really know the rules, and rolled some dice. It was good fun though.
Can I just say about Brock's questions? Do you think he's trying to plug Blood Bowl?
No,
games
not at
have
all.
you
Other
seen down the
games.
club that you haven't played that you want to have a go?
All right, spoil it. Oh, yeah, quite possibly. He is biased, but that's okay. There's another game that he plays. But yeah, Phil. Obviously, Phil's played Blood Bowl. Phil, thoughts?
Wait, so I was busy posting a Spanish photo.
Yeah.
What was the question?
How many of you have experienced Blood Bowl, and what did you enjoy about it?
So I enjoyed it when I first started it because there's the amazing things you can pull off in it. Like, whoa, this game is really cool, and you soon lose that, and you get very tactical and cynical about the game. Wait, so what was the
enjoy
question again? What do I enjoy about it? I enjoy nothing about it.
You don't like it anymore.
Nah, it's like you have to. I think it's one of these games you enjoy when you don't know much about it. and then when you do, you begin to hate it because
Phil,
those
You're gonna
fucking
break
dice.
his heart. What are you saying?
Phil, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you play Blood Bowl, are you
Yeah.
a dice tower type of guy?
Oh, I've got a no. I've got a little cup that I shake my dice in.
I was watching a video on YouTube of Blood Bowl, and
Yeah.
they both of them had dice towers, and I just thought, wow,
What's a dice tower?
this is
Don't
mental.
ask. Oh God.
It's a tower that you
rolls
throw
dice
dice
for you.
down. Yeah.
It's random every time, but I just thought they looked mental when they were doing it. It's like
So
a mini Helter Skelter for dice.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
What it is.
Googling it.
Yeah. I've got a question for Phil.
Go on.
So, Phil, obviously you play a lot of Blood Bowl, but what do you prefer, 40k or Blood Bowl?
Ooh, good question.
So
I've never seen you
It-
play 40k.
Have you not?
what?
No.
No, I've never seen you play 40k.
That's because every time he plays, he gets accused of bringing a list because the Harlequins only have like
A dirty
7
little-
people.
That's a really hard question actually because I love both games in equal amounts.
If you had to pick one, if one could be no longer available and it was illegal to play it, what one would you
Um,
pick?
What a
40.
weird law.
You pick 40k or
Ooh.
Blood Bowl.
Yeah,
I'm
if
telling
one
Brocky.
because Blood Bowl is one of these games where when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it is a bad game.
Okay.
When
fair
those
enough.
dice aren't going your way, it is awful.
Okay, Holly. Same
I
question.
forgot the initial question.
How have you experienced Blood Bowl, and what did you enjoy about it?
Oh,
If you
no,
have.
I've never experienced Blood Bowl.
Oh,
There we
Sam.
go.
I've never experienced it. I have, however, been watching from afar, and it does look like a intense game. It kind of scares me a little bit. Yeah, it scares me a bit. Especially seeing some of the guys playing and their faces when they don't. From what I can tell, they haven't rolled the right dice.
Yeah, you've heard me scream before, right?
Yeah, I generally think someone's going to get knocked out when I see some people, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's close.
And Luke, same question to you, sir.
I have not played Blood Bowl. The only experience I've had with it is when I was intoxicated and I lost money because Phil influenced me to buy an army.
No,
Which is
I think you
also...
asked Phil to buy you an
Yeah.
army.
No, I don't think it did.
I ordered you halflings.
No, you didn't even order me them. I've got a box
No.
of zombies.
Yeah, you got a box of undead, which are quite a good team.
Yeah, they're
Also,
still in the
you have
cellophane.
experienced Phil's quality turf.
Oh, of course. How
Oh,
could we not mention the
every
premium
time.
quality turf, Phil?
That to the touch, it's wonderful. It's like the real thing.
Okay.
It is
So
beautiful.
the
That's
next
because
question,
it is. It's just a piece of turf.
So the next question comes from my partner, which was, what are your top tips for getting through this isolation period we're going?
Listen to our podcast.
What a great plug! Pretty much that, isn't it? If the YouTube channel, you got Tabletop.
Get
Tactics.
involved on the Facebook competitions and get involved on the Facebook page. Come on Discord and just continue that community we've got.
Talk to people, talk to other people other than your partner in your house, because I've been stuck in here with Kelly for the last 2.5 weeks now, and
I bet that's a dream.
obviously I'm a delight to live with.
I mean, no, I feel sorry for Kelly.
To avoid that cabin fever, what you got to do is look in the mirror with a different disguise on every day. Just pretend you're talking to someone totally
I
random.
can see you doing that as well. I bet you do it.
You know what? Out of all of the people I know who are in isolation at the moment, Karl, you're the one who seems to be cracking the quickest.
Oh yeah,
Like you've totally lost your shit in whatever day it is. I know you've been in there
12
longer
hours
than
into day
most,
one.
but some of the stuff you come out with, I'm like, what's happened?
he's so
Karl has
grumpy.
lost it. He's just painted his body in black tar and just, he's just
Feathered
running
himself.
around screaming. He hasn't actually done that
Me and
yet. But it's
sometimes.
just
Sometimes me and Luke just look at the
Weird.
WhatsApp and go, "Yeah, Carl's lost it," and just put the phone back down and go, "Yeah."
just
I-
yeah.
Kelly had
honest,
to
Luke.
tell me that the clocks went back the other day and that it was Sunday
It's
today.
today.
No,
They went
I
I
didn't
went
forward.
back
know.
today, buddy.
Oh shit!
Forward.
Oh dear. See, I didn't know.
So
I'm not paying
technically, you should be
attention.
happy about that because they went forward. So an hour of your isolation time was taken away.
Hooray!
Hey.
Okay, so basically, don't do what I do, and you'll survive this. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly
Or,
that. Yeah.
or you could take up an instrument.
Yeah, I'm trying.
A blunt
trombone.
instrument.
Not the trombone.
Hi-oh.
Hi-oh.
Just try to learn
Okay.
to ride a penny farthing.
Another question from Tom. What game have you seen down the club that you haven't played but want to have a go? So I want to answer this before anybody else gets a chance. Badgers and Burrows.
That
I've
looks very
seen
interesting.
I'll second
Tom and
that.
Phil
I'm
play it,
so
and I really want to
sorry
play
for
it.
Bodger
Um,
and Badger.
Oh,
and
what a
Burrows.
program!
Smash
that.
the mashed potato guy.
I used to love that.
Bodger and
Badger
Badger,
and
they're never
Badger.
far away.
I don't think I'm the only one that's
Badger
cracking.
loves mashed potato. Sorry.
I'm the only guy on this podcast that can literally derail it into something totally random.
Yeah.
So, the majority of us want to play Badgers and Burrows. Is that right?
Yep.
I'm gonna look
Badgers
this
and
up.
burrows.
The
Yeah,
cider is
I agree.
mandatory.
I think the models are very, very. By the looks of it, the models are quite hard to get hold of, though.
Oh, okay. Can't you just get like a badger from Smiths? They do like these little badger toys and stuff.
Just get
Can
some
you-
farmyard toys.
Sylvanian families.
Yeah, pretty much. Can't you use those bad boys and be like, yeah, I'm just putting this in here. Okay,
It's
so
like playing Wind in the Willows.
it looks, guys, we're not doing it,
It does
any
look cool.
justice.
It does look cool.
very cool. The way they set up their board and stuff like that is incredible. And it would be nice to sort of get an intro game. I know Simon was playing it with them a couple of weeks,
Sorry, I
probably a
just
couple
tried
of
to
months ago.
search it and accidentally
Yeah.
put bangers and burrows. And it's totally different.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is a question from John. It's a great question, and we've discussed this quite a lot in depth. What Primark wear Crocs, and what would be their reasons to wear them? So I'm going to go off and
Because they're
say,
practical footwear. Why else?
I
Notice the
reckon,
Croc guy spoke up
Shush.
first.
I reckon Logar would wear it, the Primark of the World Bearers, because after doing all that that fanaticalism that they're into, he'd like to sit down with his newspaper, cup of tea, wearing his Crocs to keep his feet nice and comfy. What do you reckon, guys? Who's your pick? Who's your pick?
Mine,
for this?
mine is Sanguinus because he's a Jesus-looking motherfucker and he wears Crocs. That's my reasoning.
With socks.
In
With
your mind,
socks.
Jesus wore Crocs.
Jesus did wear Crocs. As a known fact, that's where they came from.
Anyone else?
Yeah, sure. So I think Crocs are the single-handedly the most best invention ever. Don't know why anyone
Whoa.
else would think any different.
Right, let's end the podcast there, guys.
he's going to go insane in isolation.
Blue is particular in terms of there is high-class caliber sort of crocking involved. There is a small
So-
community.
If anybody is cracking up on this isolation, I now say it's Luke.
So, which Primark would wear them, in your opinion, Luke?
I'd say Vulcan. You know, where has he been all this time? Matalan.
Buying some Crocs with the little
Exactly.
bloody jingle things that go in them, yes?
Bring
Yeah.
to the Croc shop.
Yeah, he's been. Where has he been? He's been stocking up on Crocs. What do salamanders need? Steel toe-capped Crocs. Why? Because they're iron. They're what's their motto? Forged in flame. Of course they are. Fucking Crocs, hard wearing. What's else to like? Doom. Mic drop. I'm done. Good night.
I heard you
Anybody
can get them
else?
from John at Screwfit.
Oh, God.
Anybody else like to comment on this?
No one else needs to comment on it. No one else needs to comment on it. No, Vulcan.
Horus fucking
Sharp
loves it.
Phil doesn't need to. No. Next question.
Okay, let's move on. So we got one from Chaz in our WhatsApp group, and his I'm going to combine both his questions into one. Are Space Marines broken?
Yes.
And
Yes.
are Primaris a good idea?
No.
Okay, so we've got some yeses, we've got some nos.
I differ on that a bit. I actually like Primaris models.
Okay, very
Not,
quick
not
question,
because they're
Sam.
amazing to play, but they're really easy to paint.
How long have you been in the hobby, Sam?
Since January.
Your opinions are valid. Get out.
No.
Oh, there we go then, guys. Send the podcast there.
No, what I mean by that is a lot of us that have been in the hobby for a very long time have gotten so used to, we're not adverse to change because, it's GW's company, whatever the hell they want. We've been used to small stubby spacemen. And then Primaris came out and probably a lot of us thought to ourselves, that just seems to be a money grabber. And, GW is a business at the end of the day and it's entirely up to them what they do with their IP, as it were.
That being said, though, do you remember? I remember when 8th came out, or when they were teasing 8th and Primaris first came out. I remember holding one for the first time and going, "Dude, this is cool. It's massive compared to the original ones, and it looked different, didn't it?" Obviously, for Sam at the moment, that is the norm, isn't it? That's what.
You're right there. That's the norm. But I think for getting people into the hobby, that is a good, because they like Luke said, they're striking. They look good. You pick it up and you think this is a nice model, and I think that's what gets people into the hobby. I've only just started getting old Space Marines, like Devastator squads and things like that, and assault squads, and I do like them, but what got me into it was looking at the Primaris models. So I think from a perspective of getting into the hobby now, that would be one.
For your sort of experience, and it was the marketing of the Primaris Space Marines that actually hooked you into the hobby.
Yeah. When I did the research after speaking to you about Warhammer, and I was online, and you was next to me looking at it, and I was reading about the Blood Angels and all that. The Primaris models that they were releasing, I was looking at them and reading about them. More than I was the older models. It was only when I started getting into the game that I bought the older model. So yeah, for the Primaris got me hooked on the model. The look of the model at least.
So the other part of the question then is, are Space Marines broken? So I'm a Space Marine player. I have a fairly large Black Templars army.
Grey Knights.
And Grey Knights is a little bit different to Space Marines. And in my opinion, compared to what we were like in 7th and 6th, 8th, when the codex dropped, we were a little bit below par. The new codex obviously has helped them massively in a massive way. Obviously, we saw what happened with Iron Warriors down that competitive meta route. But as a Black Templars player, I just think we've got some really cool rules and some really cool stratagems that makes us that little bit better. I wouldn't say Black Templars are broken, but then I would be looking at an Iron Hands army going, Christ, that is absolutely disgusting and broken. So I think I can look at it from both sides of the coin, as they say. Anybody else got any thoughts on that?
The only thing that annoys me about the way in which GW, when you think of Warhammer 40k, your mind instantly goes, majority of the time, to Space Marines. It is the poster child of 40k. And that it has always annoyed me, because I don't think that other fractions within Warhammer 40k have anywhere near as much love as there doesn't need to be 20 different fractions of Space Marines. It's just ridiculous. You don't have 20 different fractions of Necrons, whatever.
I wish you did.
I wish you did. It would be great.
There's quite a few.
There is though, but when you think of Space Marines, they all there is Ultramarines and Iron Warriors and all the rest of them are Iron Warriors.
Oh yeah, if you go to Warhammer World, like they've got all the different factions painted on show, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like that big display there, that's incredible.
It's kind of like Space Marines is the hook that gets you into the hobby.
Yeah, I do like
I've
the idea about Space Marines. You can mix and match. Like, certain Space Marines will work in a Raven Guard army, and certain Space Marines will work in a Blood Angels army, and you can have them between each other. That's what I've always thought.
I've always thought with Space Marines there isn't enough differentiating factors within fractions to make them worth. Like, say for example, take Imperial Fist. Yeah, they've got the same models effectively as Ultramarines, bar a few characters, and they're yellow instead of blue. Whereas Dark Angels, that's slightly better because it's not better because they wear cloaks over power armor, which is stupid. But they look different, don't they?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
You know
But
what I
then,
mean?
if you look at it from a business perspective, they can market this one line of models in 20 different ways.
I know that's really irritating though,
Yeah,
because
so
they've got me wrapped around their little finger, and they do it every time.
exactly.
And then all you got to do is buy the different codexes and a couple of characters, and you could have like 10 armies.
And a £10 upgrade sprue.
Yeah, but the issue is, Sam, is then I've then got to buy another load of paint, and if I want to go to an ITC tournament, I've got to have them a certain color. So at this point now, I've bought like 7 craters of isopropyl alcohol. My hands are now blistering because I've got eczema all over them because I've tried to strip them multiple times. If anything, it's detrimental to my health as well as my wallet. It's just don't collect 40k, guys.
now,
Whoa.
whoa. You know, just put it out there. Okay, so yes, Space Marines, they're the hook, they're their marketing campaign. But you know, as soon as you get into the hobby, my first army was Alder, because my mate Ian, who you were probably sort of chatting in WhatsApp the other night, we were about 15, and he said, "Karl, you need to get into Warhammer 40k. It's definitely something you would like." I walked into the shop, and I said, "What should I get?" And he said, "Oh, everybody goes Space Marines because it's an easy army to learn and play, and it's very unforgiving with the rules." And I said, "Yeah, but I'm not about easy. What's difficult?" He said, "Alder." And at that time, 3rd edition, they were. But anyway, so Jamie has asked, what is the worst playable faction, in your opinion, in 40k right now? Anyone?
Imperial Fists.
That's hard because from my perspective, I haven't played many.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I
I've
was
only
saying-
played
I've got one. I've got one that's in my opinion is really difficult, and that's Gene Stealer Cult.
Okay.
But their models do look cool.
Yeah, they're probably one of the newest armies, but I've never faced against them, to be fair, and 2, I've never played as them. But from what I've heard, they're a massively difficult army to sort of get your head around, and also if you're facing against them, apparently it's just that I might as well not play. If someone, you've got to be good to use them. So if the person's running them as a full force, that person's going to be very good. So that's my opinion on that, or I'd say a very good 1,000 Sun list.
Okay. So you're saying Gene Stealer Coats. To be honest, I'll sort of echo what you said, Luke. Nobody down the club plays them.
Yeah.
And
I can change that up.
Oh, God.
I've seen battle reports with them on, and they look tricksy, and they can do dirty, cheaty, sneaky shenanigans, which is nice. But you have to fully understand their rule set to be able to play them effectively. I think that's what Luke is saying there. The great models, they look absolutely incredible. You can I believe you can ally guard in with them, some guard looking dudes. And yeah, I would say I've never seen them. I've never played against them, and I've never seen them play down any club that I've been to. So yeah, maybe they're there as a difficult faction to play. Anybody want to jump in and say throw a spanner in the works?
Ultramarines.
What?
To me, they're just basic, aren't they? That's just me. I don't know. The problem is I'm so new to this that I haven't had a chance to play a lot of things. I think the one I was most daunted by was Alder. As soon as I got that, I was like, wow, this is what... And I just read the codex and I just gave up.
You're welcome.
And Space Marines, I looked at them and I was like, oh, but this is just Ultramarines. I just looked at them and I was like, oh, this just looks so basic. There you go. It's my 2 pence.
Chaos Demons.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have to. It's like I bought a Slanesh army, didn't I?
You still got it?
No.
But their models look amazing.
Yeah, no. The thing is, Sam, is that they're very good. Second to Phil saying that they have to have so many of them. I spent about 200 quid and I only had about 600 points.
Yeah, I remember that.
You have to have so many.
I mean, the models look good. Like, so you look at the Nurgle demons; they look incredible. Like the fly bloat thingy-majiggies with the wings and stuff. They look really, really cool. But again, you need a lot of bloody Nurgle demons to make it an effective army. Yeah, so that's a good shout, actually.
Does anyone play Adeptus Mechanicus?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are they like?
Big up.
Ugh.
Yeah, big up them. They're really good.
They're a really
Oi,
good army.
how are Beck?
Yeah, Admech. Yeah, they're you can spam the basic troops with what's his name? Oh, it's
Bias
slipped my
Claw.
but Claw. You can add him for Mars as the sort of main planet. Yeah, they're quite good. If you play against Dale, he'll probably bring 6 robots. Sit him at the back with Claw, giving him all the buffs.
Yeah, he'll just bring a fun list. Apparently, just a fun list.
But no, I wouldn't say add Mecha at the bottom, Sam. I would say they're mid-table, especially with some of the shenanigans that you can do with them, like the new transports they have and the new tanks. They're quite effective.
Oh, I thought of another one.
Go on.
Death Watch. They're not an army that you can really do anything with at all, are they? Let's be honest.
They're
good.
They're good. I mean, they're good on their day, but they got to be playing against the right army, haven't they?
Again,
It goes into the past question that the Primaris thing. They're starting to introduce that into it now as well.
Well, the thing is, I've always wanted a Death Watch army, but it's an elite fraction, isn't it? It's a bit like Custodes.
Yeah.
There isn't enough model count to make it viable as a unit.
Death
But
Watch kill team.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So in our opinions, then we're talking Gene Stealer Coats, Death Watch, and Chaos Demons. I would say, and no, shut up. Grey Knights. Okay, Phil. What is your reason for that?
They've been terrible for so long.
Yeah. Okay, I concede that point.
Right, but they're all right now.
They're all right. They're okay. I still haven't played with them, but I will do soon. Okay, so last question then, guys. And this is from Andy. He's asked best place to start with Black Library, 40k, fantasy endeavors. Anyone?
I'm not gonna say Horus Heresy because that
Best place to start in that library.
that book trilogy is absolutely. It's just there's too many going on. So no.
Have
John,
any of you
you've read them
guys-
more than I have.
Yeah,
What?
I would say John's
Horus
probably
Heresy?
yeah, or any of
I
the
wouldn't
Black
start in
Library.
Horus Heresy. I think that's a bad place to start in 40k. Look like books.
Hmm.
Gaunt's Ghost is pretty good.
Yeah, would you say?
Eisenhorn?
I was going to say Eisenhorn's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I
Any book
enjoyed that.
If
Yeah.
it wasn't, if you took out the 40k part, it would still sort of work.
Yeah.
Is a good introduction. Whereas Horus Heresy and the Heresy whole thing is very much dependent upon 40k. Whereas Gaunt's Ghosts and Eisenhorn, and then later Ravener, work without the setting, so they're a very good place to start.
One book I have read, I've read a few times, is Hell's Reach. Obviously, I'm a bit biased being a Black Templars player, but if you read the book, it's absolutely incredible how Grimaldus defends Hell's Reach to the last. It's a really good absorbing book. It will make you want to go out and buy Steel Legion. It will make you want to go out and buy Black Templars. It will make you want a Warhound Titan. And it'll make you want to have a big bloody laser cannon on the back end of a chariot, basically. But you'll have to read the book to find out what that means. Absolutely incredible book. Grimaldus is a badass in it. But yeah, I mean, as John says, it depending on what your army. Obviously, Andy plays Raven Guard, so maybe start by buying a book that's associated with your army, because you already love the army. Why not read a book written about them? Would you say, guys?
Yeah, that's good advice.
It's not a bad place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so a couple more things then to go through. So we've done our Q&A now. Thank you guys for those questions. We will be doing this again next week because I think it adds a little bit more
This is
of
really
a dynamic. And then it's a great way for us to interact with you guys as well. So there's a couple of shout outs I want to say. We've already mentioned Theory Hammer because they mentioned us earlier. Always want to mention Income Gaming over in Cheltenham. I believe he's still doing deliveries at the moment. So if you're after your supplies and you're local,
Because I'd like the Imperial Fist supplement.
Send him a shout over Facebook.
I think it's as long as he's got it in stock,
yeah, it's
he'll
not
send it
getting
out.
delivered.
Because he ain't got no Crocs white. I'm dying.
No.
And then obviously
I have
over
some,
in chat,
actually. I'll have a look for you in a minute.
we could do
Cheers, bud.
swapsies, can't we? Obviously, following any government guidelines around social distancing.
Just
and the
throwing it
trees
at each
are all-
other.
Yeah, just throw
Pretty
it.
much what me and Jack did today. I just throw it. Yeah, quick.
So you guys that are listening might not know, but there are two YouTube channels that are based locally. One in actually they're both pretty much in Cheltenham, which is the
Big
Imperial
up
Bunker.
Cheltenham.
And the 40k bunker. The two local 40k channels that produce videos. Obviously, they're not coming out as much as possible as they can now, but give them a look. Really good stuff. It's really nice to see local lads doing well. So check them a subscribe and watch their battle reports, and they're really good guys to
Subscribe to us
watch.
first.
Yeah, obviously subscribe to us because we're awesome.
Better.
Diplomatic.
Yeah, well.
I try to be. Okay, and one couple of last things as we wrap up our podcast. If you haven't, check out our Instagram page, which is looked after by Holly. And Holly's doing a fantastic job. It's almost got 1,000 followers. Is that right? Am I using the right terminology with Instagram? I don't
You
know
are.
much. I'm learning every day. So well done, Holly, on that. Keep that going. We're almost at that 1K, and it'd be really nice if we can get over to that 1K, which is great. Anything you guys like to say before I wrap it up?
How would you find us on Instagram?
Oh, Holly, that's a very good question.
Our username is, let me just double check because I couldn't have the full thing because it's quite long. So it's gloss_tabletop_gaming_community.
Can we maybe look at changing that?
No, because GTGC stands for something different on Instagram.
What does it stand for, Holly?
It stands for
Rusty trombone.
Girls Grills, no, Gold Teeth Girls Club. That's what it stands for. And we're not girls with grills. So,
I could be a girl with a grill.
We can be, yeah. We can join in.
Yeah.
Okay.
The grill would suit you, Holly.
No, thank you. I might try it out in isolation.
Definitely going to be a thing.
When you're 3 weeks in, guys, anything is funny. So yeah, just saying. Guys, thank you for joining me on the podcast this week. It's been great talking to you guys. And guys, people that are listening, thank you for listening. We do it for you. So yeah, Luke and I do all his shenanigans to make it sound better than what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you.
Peace
Thanks,
out,
guys.
Rusty trombone.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Let's get spiked.